Hey guys, welcome back. I'm very excited to have you back here. Today I have yet another microphone review on my channel for you guys, and we're going to look at the I'm not sure whether I can call it the baby Shure, but obviously it's the smaller brother. It's the Shure SM48, and probably if you know a little bit about microphones already, you kind of see the packaging looks a little bit familiar, and that's because the SM48LC is probably somewhat similar to its bigger brother, the SM58. I mean, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a fun comparison between these two Shure microphones. I'm very excited because I'm somewhat of a long-term user of the SM58, so I really want to know how does the smaller brother compare to this very standard microphone. The SM58 is so widely known. And for people who are a little bit more on a budget, this SM48 might be a really great alternative. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these two microphones, first the smaller one, then the classic one that I've used for a long time, to my little audio, not interface, but my preamp, my tube preamp, because I have like lots of dials here where I can control the sound a little bit and get really the most out of the microphone. And that's what I really love to test all my microphones with. As you can see, this is the introductory part. I've introduced to you what I'm going to do in this video slash tutorial. And in part 2, we're going to jump to the unboxing. I'm going to show you what's inside the package. I'll show you the build quality. And then most interestingly, in part 3, we're going to do the sound test. And I'm connecting this to the preamp. And because a viewer recently asked me, oh, this is too complicated, I don't have a preamp, I don't want to buy a preamp. Yes, you can also just connect the dynamic microphone of your choice to a USB audio interface. Usually if you connect it directly to a halfway decent USB audio interface, you should still get very nice sound results, because obviously if you just have the microphone connected directly to your USB audio interface, there are only two things on your desk, and it's a small tiny little USB audio interface and the microphone. As soon as you start introducing preamps, you have a third device, so you have the microphone, the preamp and the interface. It gets a little bit more cluttered on your desk. Personally, I don't mind it, but that's also like a budget thing. But for testing purposes, I like to use this a little bit more, I wouldn't call it like super pro audio quality gear, but obviously for testing purposes, I prefer this kind of setup. That's what I always use because I really like this preamp. So let's get rolling with the unboxing and then jump to the sound test. And yeah guys, let's get started. And yeah guys, I'm excited. Now we're gonna have a look at the Shure SM48, the little brother of the Shure 58. And I'm just gonna take this out of the package real quick, and we're gonna see what we can find inside. The first thing that we see is obviously it's the user manual. Maybe I can pull this out here real quick. User guide, not manual, guide. That's kind of nice and handy for your cable tie strap. How do you call this? This is for the putting in your microphone. Always make sure you have the fitting adapter as well. Right now I can only see the connector for the bigger microphone thread. Do you call this thread? The microphone itself in bubble wrap. So let's put this to the side a little bit. And yeah, I mean, the build quality is like we know from Shure. Looks like a nice quality, and here this metal mesh. Maybe take this off real quick, have a look at the capsule. Always be careful, don't do this all the time, don't touch it. I think it looks slightly different than my SM58, but the top part is similar. And as always, let me put this back on real quick. It's really solid. So that's one thing I like about these dynamic microphones. They are solid. So I really feel if they drop, I mean obviously you shouldn't drop them, but they can withstand rugged stage use or rugged use. Condenser microphones, I feel, are somewhat more fragile. So if you want a rugged, transportable microphone that cancels out all the sound from the surroundings and only picks up the sound of the speaker right in front of it, these type of dynamic microphones, in my opinion, are really the way to go. And what else we can find? Obviously, you have a sticker right here, warranty card, and the carrying bag, which is also very nice. And if I'm not mistaken, if you look inside, what can we find? This is what I'm looking for, the secret surprise. That's what I need to connect this to my microphone stand. So always double check that something like this is not missing, no matter which microphone you buy, because that way you can connect it to your microphone stand. Guys, I once bought a microphone where this was missing, and yeah, it was kind of like a pain in the I don't want to say the word, but you know what I mean. So that's all there's to say to it. I know in the user guide there's also the pickup pattern and the frequency response, but I think you can probably also download this from the website. So I'm not going to belabor this too long. Let's just go ahead right away and jump to part 3 and do the listening test, because that's what I'm so excited about. We're going to test the little brother of the SM58 and do A/B test. So first I tested the more affordable version, and then we're going to see, does it really make sense to buy the more expensive one, or can you also stick with the budget version? So I'm really excited. Let's get rolling. So guys, welcome back to part 3, the sound test part, where now we're going to listen to, or we are listening to the Shure SM48LC, the little brother of the bigger Shure microphone. And what can I say? I connected this dynamic microphone directly to my preamp via XLR cable, and you can see I had to turn the input gain all the way up, which is pretty normal for dynamic microphones. And then after the signal gets pre-amplified, it gets out to a second XLR cable at the back here to my audio interface. And that's basically the sound test. You can hear the sound quality. This mic is considerably more affordable than the bigger brother, the SM58, which I'm also going to test in just a second here. What's interesting to know is that you don't necessarily need a preamp. Just imagine that would be your USB audio interface. Then you would just plug the dynamic microphone straight into your USB audio interface, and also with a very high likelihood turn the gain pretty high up, but it would still sound somewhat similar. For testing purpose, I like to use the Tube MPC because I think it makes a especially nice sound. It's like a little bit of a geeky thing to use this Tube preamp. But yeah, guys, let's switch over to the bigger brother. Now we're listening to the Shure SM58, the bigger brother. It is considerably more expensive, dynamic microphone, but it should produce a slightly better quality. And as you can see here, maybe it has a little bit better sound than the more affordable SM48. So guys, what do you think? Would you get one of these budget mics, or 2 of these budget mics, or maybe 3 instead of this more expensive model? Do you think the sound difference is significant? On my preamp, I literally didn't change anything. I left all the settings exactly the same way. And one thing that is definitely worth mentioning is that on my preamp I have a little bit of a special thing going on with this low cut filter. That basically what that means is you can cut off on the low end of the frequency spectrum, you cut off some of the frequencies, and that for example can reduce the proximity effect, because with these dynamic microphones, the closer you get, usually the bassier your voice gets. And the low cut, I learned counteracts this a little bit, as well as if you keep banging with your hand on the table. It is still audible, but the low cut reduces this effect of yeah, the shocks, the vibration that can come to the table. So I turn the low cut off, I get closer, the voice should sound very, very bassy, as well as when I bang with my hand on the table, it should probably more translate, get more into the microphone. Although I must say the Shure microphones are very good at canceling out stuff in your environment much better than, for example, condenser mics. So if you're just starting out and you're looking for a mic for Let's Plays, then maybe consider getting one of these. And like I said, right now you're listening to the better one, to the more expensive one. And if you want, I can quickly switch back to the cheaper one. So right now I switch back to the more affordable SM48, the Shure SM48. And yeah, I mean, you be the judge which you think sounds better and whether it's worth to spend this extra money. I really think Shure positioned this budget version in the market to compete with other competitors that try to eat up a portion of Shure's market share by introducing more affordable alternatives. But yeah, guys, this concludes the test recording of the comparison of these two Shure microphones. I think this is really funny to kind of similar looking microphones. I mean, guys, they almost look the same. You got to be careful not to confuse them when you test them, but because it's only this type designation here at the top that makes otherwise they look almost identical. So that concludes the test. Let's jump to part 4, the summary and conclusion part. So guys, we are already at part 4, the summary and conclusion part. Let's just quickly recap what we learned about the Shure SM48. First up, I introduced the project to you. Then in part 2, we looked at what's inside the package. I gave you a few close-up shots of the microphone. And then in part 3, I connected the Shure SM48 to my preamp and we did some extensive listening tests. And I really paid attention to the fact that I'm using this with my preamp so that you get the best possible sound testing results for this mic. And I also compared it against its bigger brother, the Shure SM58, which I always like a little bit more. I think it sounds a little bit better, but obviously the Shure SM58 is more expensive. And for what it's worth, I mean, you have seen, first I listened to the SM48 and then the SM58, and you see the sound difference is not that ginormous. So sure, there are subtle differences, and sure, I still prefer the more expensive mic. But if you're just starting out, this budget version, I would gladly take it. It works very well. And in fact, I like both microphones very much. But that's maybe because I'm a little bit Shure biased, because I've been using the brand for such a long time. Guys, I don't want to pitch any particular brand. I just want to give you some comparisons. So make sure to head over to my channel page and look under audio section. I'm also making sure to check other brands as well. So you can also listen to Samson Dynamic mics or Behringer mics, or you can look at different audio interfaces, which can be a really valuable resource. If you just want to learn more about audio equipment, then I encourage you to check this out. For example, I did recently a video tutorial on how to record the perfect sound for your video recordings, where I talk a little bit about different lavalier microphones and how you can set this up, and you can learn more about, for example, if you want to shoot product reviews or vlogs or something, how to improve the sound there. So guys, without further ado, let's conclude this video. I see you as a subscriber on my channel and in the next video. Guys, thanks for watching. All the best to you. Take care. And guys, since you watched this Shure versus Shure dynamic microphone comparison, you might also be interested in one of my audio interface, USB audio interface reviews that I recorded recently from the Yamaha AG03. And I'm really amazed, guys, about how many people have already subscribed to my channel because of the useful content that I produce here, the various tutorials and product reviews. You are invited right now to subscribe as well. And I see you in the next video, and maybe even in one of my online courses. All the best to you. Take care.